my name is Dennis Andrews, and I'm going to be talking to you a little bit today about the current tax code and what I would like to call a fix to the current tax code, which would be the FairTax. Let me start off. I'm an American. I'm an American who pays taxes. I'm an American that is being affected by the current distress we see being caused by the current tax code with the economy. I'm an American that sees businesses leaving our country just to avoid the level of taxation that they're receiving based off of this current tax code. I also see those who are staying struggle to meet the requirements posed by the current tax code. Our current tax code is comprised over 60,000 pages of taxpayer purchased paper. It's so complex that it costs the American people $265.1 billion to comply with the cost, or to meet the cost of the current tax code, while spending 6 billion hours a year just trying to meet the limits and the limitations caused, or set forth by the current tax code. Those figures are found at taxfoundation.org. If you'd like, you can look them up. Today, I will be persuading you that there is a better system. Okay? The current system is not fair. The way that it gathers and collects its taxes, it's not fair. And we'll be going over that. And I want to persuade you that there is a fair system, and there's a system that, in its beginning stages, it really looks like this could be something, at least in a step forward, in a better direction. There are two major issues with the current tax code that we're going to be talking about, and then I'm going to give you two fixes to those tax code problems. Again, the tax code that we're going to be looking at is our current tax code, and the fix that we're going to find is the FairTax. Many of you probably have heard about the FairTax solution, but we're going to be talking about it today. The current tax code has forced millions of people to go overseas looking for work, especially businesses. According to USAtoday.com, our tax codes have created an incentive for people to go overseas with their businesses. The United States has one of the highest tax codes in the world at 35%, according to David Rapson in his report on comparing average and marginal tax rates under the FairTax and current tax system of federal taxation. The current tax code collects taxes in a lopsided manner. And what I mean by that is that as of 2006, the top 50% of income earning Americans, they paid 97.01% of all American taxes. The top 50% of Americans pay 97% of the American taxes. Over 97% of American tax dollars are collected from just 50% of American workers. That sounds a little lopsided to me. That doesn't sound very fair. Thus, only 2.99% of taxes are collected from the bottom 50% of Americans. So again, to recap, the two major problems that we're discussing today are the current tax code has forced millions of people to go overseas. We see that the current tax code has created an incentive for them to leave. We also see that the taxes are collected in a lopsided manner. Well, how can we fix these? How can we fix these? Two ideas to fix these are posed in the FairTax solution. And one of those is that there are taxes that companies must pay. We understand this. There are corporate taxes. Because it is easier for the American people to pay those companies hide those taxes in what's called embedded taxes. Okay. These embedded taxes add up to about 22% of the cost of a product. You go to the store, you buy a product, 22% of that price that you're paying is just taxes for you to be able to purchase that. Okay. Again, that 22% is, we can find that in Neil Boritz and John Linder wrote a book called the FairTax book, and in that, under the FairTax plan, they explained that these embedded taxes would be eliminated. Okay. Without the need for corporate taxes any longer under the FairTax system, the FairTax boasts that not just our businesses would come back, but foreign businesses would come to America looking for work, which would bring their business, their money comes into our economy. Plus, Now millions of Americans are able to find work because these businesses are coming to America. They need people to supply their factories. So the fair tax system eliminates that problem by eliminating the corporate taxes. As of right now, the lopsided collections the IRS is receiving is not working. Under the fair tax, up to 100% of Americans could be paying taxes. How does this happen? If you buy a product, if you go to the store and you purchase anything, you're paying taxes. Under the fair tax system, there is a flat 23% there's 23% what they call fair tax. It's a sales tax on everything. All retail purchases. There's a 23% flat tax. Okay? Again, the corporate taxes are removed, the embedded taxes are removed, your income taxes are removed, and so when you're looking at, instead of paying 20%, 27% of your income to the taxes, then when you purchase something you're paying another 22% taxes, those are all eliminated and you're only paying a 23% flat tax. Okay. We need a system of that scale, a system that will balance out the collection of these taxes. What can you do? Well, in order to learn more about the fair tax, you can go to the fair tax. You can go to www.fairtax.org. There you'll be introduced to a full explanation of the bill currently before Congress, known as H.R. 25. It is also known as the Fair Tax Bill. Also, you can call or write your local congressman. Tell them, I want fair tax pushed through. They're our representatives. If you let them know that this is what the American people want, they have to do that. That's why they were voted in. If they don't do that, get somebody else in there. Okay? Also, you can spread the word. Let others know what you know about the fair tax. Learn about it. Spread the information. With the replacement of the current tax code, in conclusion, with the replacement of the current tax code, again, we can throw out a difficult, lengthy, non-progressive tax code and put into practice a bill that is easy to understand, relatively short, at only 133 pages. Right? And we can also actively, the system is also actively progressive. We Americans must stand up and demand that our economy and our country be strengthened by something like the fair tax. We were promised that change would come. It's time to make that change happen. Again, what can you do? We've already discussed. Learn more about it. Spread the word. Introduce this to your local congressmen or senators and get it out. Okay. Again, let me show you. This is, again, in case you were wondering, the way that the system is broken down, you can see on here, and I'll pass this out in just a minute. But again, the top 1% pay 39% of the taxes, almost 40%. Again, the top 50 pay 97.01% of the taxes. If you'd like to see this, ask me about it later. Again, thank you very much. Have a great day.